Yo, welcome back, guys, to another Splash League video here. We are here with the other semifinals. We have Jack, aka Cepherus 2 versus Joe, aka Kokusho, which is going to be a really fun match here. Both of these guys are excellent players, and both of them have very different teams. Both of them, however, are both weather teams. So I'm excited to see how that plays into this. Joining me is Andrew. Andrew, what do you think about this matchup?
Well, I know from experience that Joe's team is really offensive. Although Jack's team has some good defensive synergy going around, especially with the Archaludon. Just kind of fighting off that offense coming from Joe's side, I think will be a little challenging from him. There's also of note the weather war going on between Politoed and Tyranitar. Really curious to see what the Politoed is going to do or if he'll even bring it. It might just be there to make Joe think about it. But
Yeah, we
yeah.
also have seen rain on Latias before, so we may try to control weather there. Really interesting seeing the Diancie here, even though Joe's team has a lot of ground coverage and steel, probably just to stop that trick room or imprison that trick room. And we see Bronzong there, so we may see some speed control in trick room versus Tailwind with that Tornadus. So it's gonna be a fun match.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be really interesting to see what angles they take. I'm going to go ahead
All
and
right.
give them the go ahead.
Let's see. I think we may. I'm trying to think of what Jack's approach is here. What he's planning on doing into uh Joe. Joe can go really fast with that tailwind. We don't see the Talon Flame from Cepherus. So we may try to match speeds with Latias. So I'm thinking Jack may bring the Latias here for either way of speed control. What are you thinking?
Absolutely. Honestly, I'm really curious to see what the Latias is going to do. It has a lot of interesting tools. Of course, it can match tailwinds, like you said. Also has some decent support moves.
There is the Latias to start with the Polito going to go ahead and set up that rain. Kind of scary for that Chandelure there. We do see the Terra Grass on Chandelure. May come into clutch right here. Tornado's Prankster making it really hard for Jack as well.
Yeah, I could totally see Joe switching the Chandelure out for a Tyranitar here.
Yeah, probably has Tyranitar in the back. We may see Gastrodon in the back as well. Gastrodon does have that Storm Drain ability. May be beneficial. Also has that resistance or immunity to the Archdalodon's Electroshock. We have seen this lead several times from Joe before. It does give him a lot of different approaches to take. He can tailwind up here, outspeed, uh, go the Terra Grass Energy Ball, allows him to Icy Wind or even target into that Latios itself. That Shadow Ball from the Chandelure will do a lot. We have seen him specs the Chandelure before. So,
Absolutely. The Tornadus itself just puts on so much pressure. It can go for a Bleak Wind immediately, especially now that rain's up. Um, he could just protect the Chandelure if it doesn't have a choice item.
we
But we
see a
do see a
withdrawal from
switch.
Politoed. There's the Terra Grass Tailwind. Shadow Ball. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of damage. We see a matching Tailwinds. With that, who's going to be faster here? That Archdalodon versus the Chandelure. Naturally, Archdalodon is just a little bit faster, so it depends on how they EV these two here. That is a lot of damage there.
I would love to see Dragon Cheer on the Latias.
Right here. Is Latios naturally faster than Tornadus. No, it is not. It's
It
1
isn't.
point slower. So if we see a Max Tornadus, we may see a Bleakwind Storm directly into this to go ahead and take out this Latios before it gets to do anything else.
Yeah. It is a pretty close. Oh, he just switches it out.
Yeah, Icy Wind. They're going to go ahead and slow it down. Electroshock is not going to be able to get the one turn really big there. Sandstorm not enough to go ahead and take out the Latias. It lives with 1% left. Well, a little bit more than 1, but it will go down next turn.
Yeah, I gotta say, this is a pretty shaky start for Cepherus here. Not sure what he could do to reposition, because even though he does have a bit of a speed advantage here after the Icy Wind and Mashing Tailwind, Kokusho just has not even really taken a lot of damage.
Ooh, a charm there. We do see another Shadow Ball. High horsepower.
It's so
That
little
is,
damage.
yeah, after those +2 defense, doubling its defenses and having Tyranitar's attack. We may see a switch out from here from the Tyranitar. Probably doesn't like being in. We still do have that Chandelure, probably slower than this Politoed now. Makes a really interesting turn. We may see a Protect coming out, considering that it is Life Orb. Pins, does he want to switch out the Tyranitar into the Tornadus, or does he want to switch it out into what he has in the back, kind of sacrificing it so he can switch it back in next turn?
I think it would be really gutsy for him to switch into the Tornadus right now. I think he should
Mm,
probably let one of his Pokemon just fall and get it in. Oh, but he
it's
brings it
the
in.
Tornadus.
If he Electroshock. Okay, well, he didn't.
Terra Blast Grass. Almost don't want to bring back the Tyranitar, and if he has that Bleakwind Storm, may want to bring in whatever he has in the back, because that Terra Grass does not look that fun in front of this. Interesting that he Terra'd right there. Wow. Interesting play here.
Wonder if he
That
expected
Tornadus,
a Gastrodon switch with that
yeah,
Terragrass, Terrablast.
yeah, that would have been a good call there. Really nice read, but we didn't see it. We saw a switch to that Tornadus. We're able to go ahead and set up the sand again. We'll probably see another Tailwind. And we have Tyranitar there able to go ahead and do really good damage and probably finish out that Archdalodon. Or we may even see a double attack. I wonder, did we get to see Tyranitar's item yet?
Don't believe so. It we know it can't be Clear Amulet.
Yeah. So usually, if it's not clear amulet, we may end up seeing that it's Assault Vest. The Electroshock didn't do too much, but is also naturally pretty bulky there. I don't know that count, to be honest.
Yeah, and with the sand staying up, its special defense is just going to be even higher.
We do see a reset to that sand. We may see Politoed switch out just so we can reset up this rain to just puts him back in another bad position. This is looking really good for Joe. If I'm Joe here, it'd be interesting to see how Jack tries to go ahead and get out of this one. Both players big in the think tank.
We still haven't seen a fourth Pokemon on either side.
No, there's the Tailwind there. There's the knockoff. We do get to see the item. It's Assault Vest. Weather Ball directly into the Tornadus, but it's bulky enough to live that and the Tailwind damage. We see the mouse hold in the back, but mouse hold is not faster than either of these two Pokemons here.
Absolutely not. Gay Rat Wedding is in here. The Weather Ball from Politoed, really, really cool usage of that move. Really beneficial to him no matter what the weather is.
Yeah, the it's super effective into that Chandelure, gets him another option into Chandelure if the weather ends up switching. So it's a really cool call on Jack's call. Also, if he has that rain up, Kokusho or Joe's team just cannot deal with water types that well. There is an air slash, big damage from the air slash. We see that rock slide, confirming that Tyranitar is faster. We do see a rain dance, but I don't think that that's enough there. I guess he was hoping that we don't see any attacking move. We just see the rain dance follow me, maybe not wanting to show it off quite yet. What a game one there.
Yeah, pretty convincing 3-0 by Kokusho there. I think the air slash there pretty much confirms that there is no Bleak Wind, which would not surprise me. It's what he did last week. It's just far more reliable.
Especially in the sand, if he's trying to have control of the weather. Alrighty. Which means we may see a change up in game two. He did try to match Tailwinds with Latias, but Latias ended up taking so much damage that it was pretty much dead weight there at the end. We may see a switch into maybe Diancie to go ahead and threaten the Chandelure, or I don't know what Jack's going to sit here and do to counter that. And if I'm Joe, I think that's a really, really strong lead into him.
Absolutely.
We may see a lead with the mouse hold. We did see follow me mouse hold. That can cause problems for the Chandelure if it wants to go for those shadow balls. So we may see a lead with the mouse hold. Follow me. It also had that rain dance there. May allow for Archdalodon to start going at it, or even a trick room for a Diancie there.
Yeah, I just imagine it's very difficult for Cepherus to come up with a good lead here. As I said before, the Tornadus just exerts so much pressure at the beginning. Even if he does want to go for something like a mousehold lead, he can just always tailwind, make sure its partner goes first.
Yeah, seeing the Tyranitar speed enough, have enough speed investment to go through and outspeed the mousehold and tailwind, really good information for Joe. Because there is a possibility that it is just min speed, and with min speed for a possible trick room, that mousehold would have outsped. So there is speed investment, or a mousehold may not have any speed investment. There's no telling. It'll be really interesting to find out after these matches.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see Mousehold left on the bench this match. Just looking at Kokusho's team, offensively, probably doesn't do too great with the population bomb being not very effective into four of his Pokemon. Follow Me, I don't see doing a whole lot in the face of Tyranitar that can just click Rock Slide. I imagine Chandelure has Heat Wave.
Probably an icy wind on Tornadus as well.
I think we might see the Diancie this time, although I'm not sure if he'd want to have it in the lead or in the back.
Well, if he's expecting Joe to lead the same way, I don't think that Chandelure can do much to Diancie in general. We may see it go for a Diamond Storm off the bat to try to boost up its defenses, or we may even see a possible Trick Room. But Joe can always think about that and have that Bronzong in the back. We never got to see what that fourth Mon was. could have been that Excadrill, or it could have been the Gastrodon or the Bronzong. So it'd be really interesting to see how what he was bringing in the back. We do see that same lead from Joe. There is the Mousehold right there with the Deontay,
That's
just as we expected.
yeah, that's one lead I did think he could go for because now he can pretty safely click follow me and set up that trick room if he has it.
Yeah.
From that point on, it's just Diamond Storm, which if the Chandelure doesn't Terra, um, super effective into both of them.
Really interesting to see how Joe responds to this Trick Room threat. He may let it go up and switch out here, expecting to follow me with the Chandelure, with the mouse hold. May see Tornado switch out into whatever he has in the back. If he has that Tornado, Tyranitar in the back, it can still threaten the Diancie. If I'm Jack, I know exactly what I'm clicking this turn. Oh man, what does Joe do? I imagine saving that Terra for Tyranitar may be one of his priorities if he thinks this Diancie could possibly. There is the switch with the Bronzong in the back. We see a population bomb
Oh
into
wow,
the Tornado slot, not even going for the follow me. Really interesting there. Few critical hits, but that Bronzong's still really healthy. Energy ball right into the Diancie. It ends up living that, going for the Diamond Storm there, and the
ooh,
Chandelure lives. Oh, but that Diancie ends up getting that +2 defense.
that was not at all what I expected to see there from either side. But I'm not really sure who came out on top from that turn because Chandelure took a ton of damage, but it did live, and Jack isn't in a great offensive position here. The Diancie is about to fall from another attack. It can't even terrestrialize to resist the energy ball because, if I recall correctly, its Terra is water.
We may see that follow me this turn here. Bronzong coming in for the possible Trick Room ended up taking a little over half. We saw a few critical hits there, so may be able to live another population bomb. It'd be really interesting if the Mousehold does attack. It needs to attack into that Chandelure. We haven't seen anything outside of Population Bomb. We know it has Follow Me and a Rain Dance. I don't know if it can touch this Chandelure. This Chandelure may be able to take out this Diancie for free unless we see a Follow Me.
Yeah, I think he absolutely has to click follow me here. Be interesting to see
Unless
what the Bronzong wants to do. It might just try to set up an iron defense, or maybe even go for a body press just to finish off that mouse hold.
that Friend Guard coming into Thunder Wave from the Mousehold. That is its last move. We got to see its entire thing. Body press coming out, doing big damage there. Both Mons on Jack's side pretty weak at this point. That Mousehold, I believe, is in the same speed tier as the Tornadus. Puts Joe at a really weird position. Does he try to tailwind here? I don't think that Bronzong, even if its speed is doubled, outspeeds that Mousehold. Do we try to go for an attack into the Mousehold? We may see that Terra Ground into the Tornado slot. There is the Terra Ground. There's the Population Bomb. Ooh,
Ooh,
Rocky Helmet. Oh, what a turn with the Iron Defense, calling it right there.
that is
What a
huge.
turn. And that Archdalodon is not going to be able to hit this Tornadus with its Electroshock. We see the +2 defense on that Bronzong, making it really, really bulky. those body slams from the Archdalodon are not going to be able to do much damage into it with that leftovers. We may see that thing just running away. I don't think that Politoed can one shot it. Really interesting turn here. That Tornadus is also Terra Ground. It will be taking a lot from this Politoed. We may see the switch on the Tornadus to go ahead and get control of the weather. That Bronzong being able to stay in and
Absolutely. I think if he does have Tyranitar in the back, he should bring it out right now.
or man, if he even didn't even bring Tyranitar and brought Gastrodon, that'd be even better. But it's not out. That Archdalodon is Assault Vest, so it is really bulky. And if it's Tyranitar in the back, I wonder if Stamina's plus that, Assault Vest can help it clutch it out.
We've seen numerous times Cepherus' Ochalodon be able to clutch out these end games, so I'd definitely be a bit worried if I were Kokusho here.
It's not over yet. We see both players thinking really big about this turn. This turn's really important. Rocky Helmet with that population bomb just ends up doing so. It's such a hard counter, and whenever you're able to prep for this, it makes it really hard to end up bringing that mouse hold.
That's definitely one of the things about this league is certain Pokemon can just fall prey very easily to just a single item can make them really difficult to use.
There is a tailwind there. We see a body press only 9%. There's a surf going to take out both Pokemon's giving up. Oh, wow. Yeah, like we said, it is anybody's game. Sleeping on that Politoed really can mess you up. Politoed in the rain with that surf, able to go ahead and take out both that Tornadus and that Bronzong. There's the Terra Water there. We see a Rock Slide critical hit there.
And a
And a
flinch.
flip. Oh, wow. So we are at a +2. We have a physical Tyranitar here, but it's up against a Terra Water +2 defense.
I don't know whose game this is right now.
We have 2 more turns of oh, we see the Protect there. Getting a little bit more chip. We have 1 more turn of Tailwind. It is if Tyranitar cannot close this out, that body press is going to 100% one shot that +2. Like, oh man. There's a Rock Slide. Are we hoping on Rock Slide flinches? No flinch today. That takes us to our game 3. Really, really close game there. Wow. Sleeping on Politoed there ended up really biting him in the back. Man, that game looked like if he had Gastrodon, it would have been a different story. We may see a switch up here with what Monsuri end up bringing in the back. If I'm Joe, I'm looking at that Gastrodon really closely.
Yeah, I think Jack has really figured something out here, and something that I've been saying about Jack since last season is if you take him to game 3, you're probably gonna lose.
He's really good at making adaptations and really good at predicting what you're thinking for game 3.
It's just the more information he's able to gather throughout the set, the more dangerous he becomes. Uh,
Yeah.
Joe's a very formidable player, really cemented himself far before my time as one of the strongest players in this league. But the level of adaptation Jack is able to sort of gather together throughout the set is certainly something to be feared.
Both of these guys are champs in their own rights. They end up going through, and I believe both of them have won several different minis throughout their time in our league. So definitely neither one of them is a slouch. That is why they're both here in the semifinals. Let's see what adaptations both of them end up making. Are we going to see that same lead from Joe, that Tornadus and Chandelier puts off a lot of pressure, but we did see a really good adaptation with that Mousehold Diancie. So we may see a big switch up there. We also saw what item the Tornadus was holding, which was that Rocky helmet, which may influence how Jack leads. Mousehole may not seem as good as an option now. Alrighty.
I'm just
What
eager to see
a
the leads.
yeah, gosh. I mean, I don't know what to do if I was in either of these guys' position. That was so it looked like it was Joe's last game, and then last minute, that Surf on Polytoad. So far, we've seen Terrablast, Weather Ball, Surf, probably running Protect if I had to make any guess as that last move. The Surf right next to that Archdalodon's really, really fun. If he gets to set up that Trick Room, his Polytoad is slower than that Archdalodon. It gets to Surf, and then that Archdalodon gets its stamina boost, which means that it gets that +1 to its defense, making it even more bulky. And then that body damage, body press just ends up doing more damage. So we may see him try to set up that trick room. We did see that Diancie put in a lot of work there. I don't know. We also haven't seen the Excadrill or the Gastriodon, so it'd be really interesting to see what those sets are.
Absolutely. I think Gastrodon could really be useful here. I feel like it probably would have been a better call than Bronzong in that last match. Um, I'm not sure
Yeah.
what Excadrill can really contribute. Of course, it does have that very strong high horsepower into the Archaludon, but with stamina and the
We
possibility
end
of
up
it just
getting
terastallizing, it might not be as useful.
Yeah, we may see diminishing returns on that Excadrill. Having a really strong special attacker into it may end up being a little more helpful. Deep in that think tank. Yeah, the Terra Fire actually looks really, really good. Having that Storm Drain ending up taking up those surfs. It's a really good answer to Diancie. It has a really strong earth power. We may see Ice Beam to cover for the grass and for the Latias. I think it may end up having. Oh, here we go. Tornadus and Chandelure once again. Ooh, we see a change up once again on Jack's Slay. We see the Serena and the Mousehold here. Interesting change up. We don't see the Diancie, so we're not going for Trick Room shenanigans here. That Serena, we know, is not assault vested. It probably will not live a flamethrower. It may live a heat wave. I would have to run some calcs on that. I'm sure Jack has, but either way, does not like being in front of that Chandelure.
Absolutely. It does have that Terra Rock if it wants to resist a fire move. I'm not sure that he wants to commit a Terra so early on, especially on his Serena as opposed to something like his Archaludon. Um, but as always, Joe has a tremendous advantage with his tornadoes, just being able to set up the tailwind if he wants to. Serena is also pretty heavily threatened by an air slash.
Yeah, it is definitely slower than this Tornadus. We also know that that Mousehold cannot touch either of these. Its only attacking move is Population Bomb. We may see Follow Me or Thunder Wave, but it cannot touch the Chandelure, and I doubt that it wants to touch this Tornadus. We may see a triple axle coming from the Serena with a Follow Me. That triple axle probably does enough damage into Tornadus to take it out.
Yeah, and it will hit
So
it super effectively regardless of if it terastallizes. However, it is a contact move, so even if he gets all three hits, he'll take pretty considerable damage from that Rocky Helmet.
yeah, this seems like a really good lead for Jack. Even if the Tornadus ends up getting that tailwind off, that Serena is going to be doing a good amount of damage into it. I I'm pretty sure that Mousehold's probably going to go for a Thunder Wave, but be interesting to see the order of how things are executed. Oh, we see a hard switch right there. The Serena. There's the Thunder Wave. That means that the mouse hold is faster. It may be a speed tie air slash with the heat wave. It is heat wave Chandelure, not flamethrower.
Honestly, still doing pretty meaningful damage into that mouse hold with the rain weakening it.
There's the follow me there. Tailwind coming out from Tornadus. Energy ball taking out the mouse hold. We see a surf. Tornadus able to live it this time. It hasn't terrestrialized. We have the tailwind up. So we have 3 versus 3. Both Mons on the field. Pretty hurt. Rain is up on Jack's side, but we do have that tailwind up from Tornadus. That Tornadus is going to be able to be free to go ahead and strike into anything that it wants to. That Serena is in the back. That is a Grassmon. We may see a double into that Polytoad because that Surf has been doing a lot. There's the Tyranitar going to go ahead and change the weather back. Really interesting plays here. We may see that Terra Rock come out, but we may see a prediction for it. Depends on how these players are feeling. That Tyranitar may go for a strong ground type with an air slash into the Serena slot to try to take it out. We don't know what item it is. It could be Protect, so may see a switch out with the Polytoad. It's anybody's guess.
Absolutely. He could even switch out the Politoed into a Chaladon just to take a hit and get a stamina boost.
Hmm. It may also stay in, and we did see that Weather Ball rock right into the Tornado slot. So that is also a possibility. That Politoad is pretty bulky. That Air Slash isn't enough to take it out from where it sits currently.
I just feel like there's so many things going on in this turn.
So many things to account from for both players.
The suspense.
We also don't know what that fourth Mon is from Joe this time. We may see a switch up since that Bronzong ended up going down to that Surf. There's the switch into the Archdalodon. There's the Terra Ghost. There's the Rock. Air Slash ends
Ooh,
up missing.
who
A
misses?
double miss right there. Bullet Seed. Ooh, this is a loaded dice. good call on the terrestrialization on the Tyranitar. Really safe there. Also, is going to save him from the Earth power. We may see the switch back into the Politoed now. Man, that air slash missing is going to really, really stink.
Surprised to see the Terra on the Tyranitar.
Probably accounting for the Serena grass move into it. Because if he did not terastallize there, that bullet seed probably would have been able to take him out. Also got a double crit on that bullet seed, meaning that that Tyranitar is pretty weak. If I am Joe, this is looking really bad. Jack has the option to switch out that Serena, go right back into that Polito, get that Electro Shock off, and either of these Mons were probably going to go down to that. Now, I don't think either of them have the capability of taking out this Archdaladon, not after that one stamina boost.
Absolutely. And I know we were talking about how good Gastrodon might be, but right now, with Serena really healthy,
There's the Air Slash, there's the Rock Slide. This makes me think, oh, this Tyranitar may just be choiced. We haven't seen. Oh, nope, it's not. It's running Protect. We do see a flinch there, but that Snarl is going to cut down the damage of that Tornado. It's that Assault Vest putting in a lot of work.
not looking good for Joe here. I can't imagine what he could have in the back to save this.
No. Air Slash again into that with another Rock Slide. That Snarl's going to take out both Mons and another flinch. If it's that Bronzong, I'm feeling really bad right now. It is an Excadrill. It does have 2 more turns of Sandstorm. We may see the switch right out into Politoed. There's that switch into Politoed. It is not going to be enough. All those stamina boosts end up making that Archaludon way too bulky.
Really well played by Jack there.
Yeah, that Serena ended up coming in at clutch. Terra Rock too. Not every day you end up seeing a Terra Rock. Let's go ahead. Let's get them in here. Maybe. Or maybe not.
Let's see.
Oh, nope. Doesn't look like he's able to. We may just end up calling it there. Doesn't seem like he's able to jump in for commentary. Really strong matches, though. Oh, we do have one in here, though. Joe, how you feeling?
It's a rough set of matches.
Yeah, that Serena there right at the end. And that Archdalladon is a lot to get through.
Yeah, it is. I definitely misplayed my game 3 and I left myself without a good plan for the Arcalodon.
Yeah, I was really curious to see what you'd go for. I'm imagining that specific turn. I believe it was Tyranitar and Tornadus against um, Politoed and Serena. You had the option of terastallizing to ground and predicting the Rock Terra, but that was just a really hard turn. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, in hindsight, I should have definitely probably Terra'd. I was almost certain he was gonna rock Terra, but also the Serena was gonna get the special defense boost in Sand, and it was unlikely gonna to take much damage. I think I was just kind of, I don't know. I felt pretty beat from that point going forward.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely made some um, pretty good adjustments there. That's just what he does. If you take him to game three, you're in for a rough one.
Out of curiosity, did you ever consider bringing the Gastrodon in the back, or
Yeah, I thought about it, and maybe I should have, as a concession to um, the Arcalodon, because it was probably my best Pokemon into that one specifically. But also he had the Grass Terra Blast on the Politoed and the Serena, and it felt like it would have been tricky to position the Gastrodon, or I would have almost certainly had to Terra it, which in hindsight probably would have been the play, I think.
it is a tricky matchup there, especially with so many things to have to worry about.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's a really tough Pokemon with stamina. I mean, all he has to do is like switch it into a resisted um, spread move at some point, and then it's just very hard to take out with anything physical from that point going forward.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then that Assault Vest on top of it just makes it incredibly bulky.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
he's put on a good showing for it. I gotta say, you've put on a great showing for this Tornadus Sand team with the Chandelure. Uh, Reggie Drago, I don't recall seeing a whole lot, but it definitely showed up in my prep matches. It was a menace there.
yeah.
So, well, I thought you had a fantastic run. Um, Now we've got our finals set in stone. I don't know if either of you have anything else you'd like to say or ask, but I think we're good to wrap it up if not.
Yep. GG's, Jack. I look forward to playing you again in the future.
Those are really good games, really close games, Joe. Way to go. Um, look forward to seeing more. Look forward to seeing what happens in season 20. And we'll see you guys from there.
All right, and we will see you guys next week.